Hey guys, welcome back to Geekmas, where I'm uploading every day until Christmas. I'm very excited. I've been talking about doing an updated palette collection, and here I am. It's going to be a long one, so there's not going to be much introduction, and I won't be able to give too many details, but check out the eyeshadow palette playlist, where I have a lot of palette-related videos. More will also be coming. If you want to see Get Ready With Me's, check out the Makeup Looks playlist. If you are new, I hope you'll subscribe, and let's get started. I don't even know exactly how many palettes I have, somewhere between like 150 and maybe 160. I know, it's a lot. Most of them I bought myself, but some I did get in PR. Something to consider. All right, let's start with this, the Fantasy Cosmetica Barred palette. I am very impressed with this formula. It is really stunning. I'm really into it. I love the mattes and the shimmers, super metallic. It's amazing. All right, I realize these are not all in very good order because I thought right next to it was the other Fantasy Cosmetica palette, but that's okay. This is the Beauty Bay Earthy palette. This is a really nice palette, very affordable. I think these are only $11 or $12. The quality is actually quite nice on this. If you want a monochromatic green palette, that is actually quite a good one. Okay, I have several Sydney Grace palettes. This one I got in PR. Some of them I bought myself. Actually, most of them I bought myself, but I did get a couple in PR. This is the Heaven on Earth palette. Sydney Grace, I would say that and Natasha Denona are my favorite eyeshadow brands. Their formulas are just so smooth. The mattes are very easy to blend, and the metallics are very shiny and beautiful. Amazing color story right there. I do have here some of my magnetic palettes, which I kind of tend to forget about. Here's a Pat McGrath palette that happens to be sitting here. This is Utopian Dream, and this might be my favorite Pat McGrath palette. I love the color story. It's absolutely gorgeous. Let's look at some of these magnetic palettes. Some of these are old, but you know what? I still keep them around. I don't want to declutter my palettes. I know I have a lot, but if I like it, I don't want to get rid of it. These are mostly Coastal Scents single shadows. Yes, Coastal Scents. Those have been around for a while. I've probably had these anywhere between like 5 to 7 years, but I still use them from time to time and I like them. All right, this one is, okay, let me try to remember. Okay, those are Cleonad. This is Inglot. And these are, I think, JD Glow. I don't use these as much as I should. They are all very good, but I guess that's going to be a theme here because I have a lot of eyeshadow, obviously. Let's just continue with the magnetic palettes. This is mostly ColourPop single shadows. Very nice. I really like these as well. I think they're great. And then speaking of ColourPop, I have this one, which is a bunch of old ColourPop palettes that I depotted. So like Dream Street, Zodiac, and Yes Please, and then another one that's called like It's a Rainbow. I don't use this often, but I do sometimes still use it. So hey, I'm keeping it. All right, this one is Makeup Geek Shadows mostly. These are the Menagerie Cosmetics Feral palette, but most of these are Makeup Geek. They fit well together. Unfortunate Makeup Geek is not around anymore. Those were great. Okay, this is the other palette of Coastal Scents. This is the colorful one. I go to these sometimes if I'm looking for a particular colorful eyeshadow. I like it. All right, and then this one is various indie brands. These are Terra Moons. I'm trying to remember. Some Davina, M Cosmetics, EMME Cosmetics. So yeah, got some good stuff in that one. There's a few other singles here, actually. Maybe I should just do that. Lethal Cosmetics, really good formula. Love these. I got one of these palettes sent to me in PR from them, and I have another one that I bought myself, and unfortunately it's not in the same spot. Some of these might actually be empty. Let's take a look at these smaller palettes. Oh yeah, this is a palette that I arranged at some point, I think to dupe another palette, and I honestly don't even remember which one. So that's kind of sad. This is what happens when you have a lot of eyeshadow, guys. These are, ooh, I don't even know. What are these? Hold on. Okay, Gimme Glow Cosmetics. Haven't used these that much. They are lovely though. And let's see this one. These are mostly Coastal Scents. Again, this I was duping a palette. I don't even remember which one. And then this one is also, yeah, these are also Give Me Glow, which are really, really nice. This lovely peachy palette is Clear the Air from ColourPop. That's one of the ones I did get in PR. I would say my ColourPop palettes, maybe like 50-50 I got in PR. This is the Wet n Wild Heart and Soul palette. This is surprisingly good. Actually quite impressed with that. Here's a little one that I actually really like, and it's the Mini Naked Sin from Urban Decay. I don't know if they call it mini, actually. Hold on, if I can open it. Yeah, this is the Naked Sin. This is perfect for travel because it just kind of like has everything I need for a basic look, has a decent sized mirror, and it's not too bulky. I definitely don't like to bring big palettes traveling. Okay, Wine and Only from ColourPop. This is one of my favorite ColourPop palettes, like perfect burgundy tones. It's amazing. Here we go, Persona Identity 2. This is definitely an older palette in my collection, but I still like it and I still use that one. Here we have, I have quite a few Sigma palettes. I really, really like Sigma's formula. This is the new mod. This is so pretty. Beautiful, like purple mauve tones. If you're into that, highly, highly recommend that palette. They just had an amazing Cyber Monday, Black Friday sale, and I did buy another palette. This is an older one, Dominique Cosmetics Latte Palette. I still like it and I still use it. This is a very nice pigmented formula. It's very smooth but easy to use. This is my only Kaleidos palette and I don't use it that much. I would say I like this palette, but I don't know that the shimmers, they're super crumbly. They're kind of hard to use. This isn't my favorite formula actually. Which is kind of sad. Which one is this? Yeah, this is Lunar Lavender. Really nice packaging and really nice color story. I like it. It's just, I would say that's not my favorite. Okay, I have another Sigma palette in here, and then the others are elsewhere. This is the Ambiance. Beautiful warm tones, like absolutely amazing. Love that one. Here's another older one, the Tarte Toasted palette. I still use this palette and I still like it. Here's the other Fantasy Cosmetica palette. This is the Druid palette, also amazing. Their formula is really unreal. I have another one of these Beauty Bay palettes. This is the Berries. I bought these when they had a pretty decent sale, I think last year or at the beginning of this year. I haven't used this one as much. It has several kind of bright pinks, which kind of threw me off as far as like berry tones, but it is good as well. Here we have another one of my favorites from ColourPop, By the Rosé. This one is really, really nice. Amazing. This is my only palette from, what is this? Adept Cosmetics, I think? Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Yeah, Adept Cosmetics. This is the Amunet palette. Really, really pretty. Their multi-chromes have so much shine. It's quite gorgeous. And here's some more Sydney Grace. This is the Sweet Indulgence palette. This one I bought, I think Black Friday last year. They discontinued this one. I just don't care though. Like, I love the Sydney Grace palettes. And then this one is Where the Wild Things Grow. I think they discontinued this one too. And I bought this in their Christmas in July sale, which is always an amazing time to buy Sydney Grace palettes. All right, Pat McGrath Mothership 2 Sublime. This was my first large Mothership palette, and it is a formula I love. The sparkle is truly amazing, and I have to say, I also love the packaging. Natasha Denona. I have a lot of Natasha Denona, and it's kind of scattered throughout here. This is Zendo, which I think is really, really nice. I feel like a lot of people don't like Zendo, but personally, I do. And then we have What's Up Beauty. This is the Geodes palette. This one is absolutely stunning. And I have their two other palettes. They sent me all three in PR. This is a formula, though, that's really good. This is the Desert Monsoon palette. Also very, very lovely. And then the third What's Up Beauty palette, this is their newest palette, just came out last month. This is the Dragon Eye palette, and this has multi-chromes. So I would say if you are only going to buy one palette from What's Up Beauty, this is definitely the one I would recommend. It's gorgeous, and like I said, there's multi-chromes in here. If you're really into that sparkle, highly recommend it. All right, moving on, ColourPop All Amethyst. This one is quite lovely if you're into periwinkle tones. I really do enjoy that one. This is one I don't use that much. This is from ColourPop. This is one of their Target palettes. This is the Vibe Check palette, which is purple tones. It's really nice. It is. I just don't tend to reach for it a whole lot. And then kind of a similar palette is the Lilac You A Lot. This one is more lilac and purple, I guess. I think I might prefer this one to the Vibe Check. This is an older one. I don't even know if they still sell that one. I bought it quite a while ago. And then we have, this one's definitely discontinued, the e.l.f. Retro Paradise. But I love this color story so much. Even though this formula, it's not best of the best, but it is good. So I still keep it around. I love that color story so much. Back here we have an old discontinued Pat McGrath. This is the Mothership Sublime Golden Opulence. This was a holiday palette from, gosh, I don't even know, years ago. I still love it though, and this doesn't have any of her special shades, but this has mattes and metallics, and I think that her mattes and metallics are fantastic. I don't like the brand just for the special shades. I think all the formulas are great. Okay, here is another Mothership palette, and this is Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction, which is probably one of the most popular of the Motherships. This red shade is gorgeous, but the rest of the palette is really nice as well. Another older palette I still love and use is the Urban Decay Born to Run. If the palettes are still working and I like them, if there's no like eye irritation going on and they're still pigmented, I will still use them. So I do have quite a few older palettes in my collection, and I would say that's definitely one of them. This is a palette I have not used that much, which is kind of sad. The Unearthly Cosmetics Surrender palette. This was part of their Valentine's mystery box, and personally, I won't be buying any more of their mystery boxes because my lips had a bad reaction to their lipsticks. But I do like their eyeshadow formula, so I would consider buying more eye palettes. This one, I don't know, I didn't reach for it so much, which is, unfortunate. More Sigma, the Enchanted palette. This one I haven't used in a while. I should pull this out. It's really pretty. Beautiful color story. More Sydney Grace. This is the Unbreakable Bond. This one is really, really good. I like this color story quite a bit. This is one of the ones, I think this one they did send me in PR. This one is the Blend Bunny Primal palette, which this might be my favorite like colorful eyeshadow palette in my collection. I just think it's really, really nice. And I like that it's not like bright neons, it's more jewel tones. Another old palette, guys, the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. I still have this and I still use it. That's, all I can say about that. My one and only Tom Ford quad in, I think it's Nude Dip. Yes, Nude Dip. I like this quite a bit, but I wouldn't go out and buy more Tom Ford quads. I got this on major discount. Full price, the price is ridiculous. I have several of these Dose of Colors 5-pan palettes. This is the Marvelous Mauves. This is quite an old palette as well, but I still like this one also. The others are scattered around and other parts of my collection here. Here's another really old palette, the Lorac Pro 1. I haven't used this in a while. I should pull this out and see what I think about it. Honestly, this I just want to like keep for nostalgia purposes because this palette was so popular on YouTube back in the day, and I don't know. I have a lot of nostalgia for it. This one is the Urban Decay Naked Ultraviolet. I like this one. I admit I don't use it that often, but I do still think it's pretty. Urban Decay Naked Reloaded. This one a lot of people didn't like, but personally I do like it. I kind of regret decluttering my original Naked palette. I used it so much, and for a long time it was one of only like 2 palettes that I had. Um, so this one I partly keep around for nostalgia purposes because the original one I loved so much and I decluttered it. I really never thought they'd discontinue that original one. I'm still kind of shocked that they did that. Natasha Denona, I Need a Nude. It's amazing. Need I say more? I love that one. Then we have, this is my only Rare Beauty palette. What's it called? Oh, it's called the True to Myself palette. You know, at first when I got this, I was not overly impressed, but the more I use it, I actually like really like this. I think it's nice. So kind of changed my mind about that one. Nomad Cosmetics. I have several of their palettes and I love their color stories and formula. This is the Royal Europe palette, which this is multi-chromes here. This palette is amazing. If you want multi-chromes and you don't want to like buy singles, I would recommend either this palette or the What's Up Beauty Dragon Eye palette. I think that is the way to go. ColourPop Cloud 9. I really like this. This one they did send me in PR, and it's a beautiful, like, cool toned taupe color story. It's quite nice. And next up is the Natasha Denona Xenon. This one I bought myself. I did a whole video on it. Again, check out the eyeshadow palette playlist for more, you know, individual palette videos. And I did compare it to Cloud 9. They're definitely not identical, but they definitely have some similarities. So that's something to think about. I have 2 more Blend Bunny palettes. This is the Dollhouse palette, which I really, really enjoy. This one and Primal are definitely my favorites. This color story is really pretty. This one is not my favorite. This is the Forget Me Not palette, and honestly, it's supposed to be also a face palette, but I just don't think these work that great on the face. I think they're more eyeshadows, so I wish it was smaller. I don't know. I kind of regret buying that. I mentioned that in a recent video. Here's another older palette that I still love, the Colored Rain Queen of Hearts. I have used this a lot, and I should actually use this soon because it's really stunning. Gotta use that one. I love it. This is the only palette I've ever tried from Gourmand Girls. It's called That Time of the Year palette. It was a collab with some influencers, so I don't think it's around anymore, but it's a really nice like winter Christmassy palette. I think it's a really pretty color story. Okay, I got some more ColourPop palettes in here. This one is the Enchanted palette, which this is a really pretty palette, like beautiful. If you love purple, but you want some variety, you want some mauve in there too, not just like a pure purple palette. Definitely this is the one I would recommend. I think it's very versatile. Then we have the Good as Gold, which the name says it all, but there's a lot of brown tones and golds, and it is pretty for sure. Here's another good one. This is the On the List palette. Very, very pretty. Got some peachy tones, you got some jewel tones, you got some neutrals, good variety there. Then we have the Or Kid You Not, which this is like the good complement palette to the Wine and Only, because that one is like a very like dark burgundy palette, and this is more purpley tones, but also very smoky. I like this one a lot. It is lovely. And then I have their palette that they did with the Winx Club, which actually I think is really pretty. Definitely enjoy that. Haven't used that one in a while. Got another Urban Decay palette in here, which I can't even remember the last time I used this. This is the Wired palette. I bought this on major sale when they were discontinuing this. I think it was like less than $20. I like it. I do. I just don't reach for it very much. I've got some Alter Ego palettes, which I'm actually very impressed with the formula. This is the Sakura palette. Very pretty. I have done a video on that one. And then this one is the Coastal palette. Lovely. I'm actually, yeah, like I said, I am very much into their formula. Okay, next up we have Suva Beauty, the Rose Period palette. I have a lot of purpley toned palettes, I'm realizing. I do love purples and mauves though, and this is another good one. Here's another really old palette, the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. This is another old one that I still love, and I feel like I don't ever want to get rid of it just because of the packaging, but also the formula is great. Juvia's Place, Nubian 2. I think, I'm trying to decide, is this one of my favorites by Juvia's Place? I think it is, actually. I think it's quite lovely. The Berries by Juvia's is also a nice little berry palette, but fairly monochromatic. Then we have the Saharan, which is really fun color story. I like the bright reds in here. I think they are quite lovely. The Magic Mini, this one also is one of my favorites by them. I don't love the mattes in here, just formula-wise. I don't think they're that great, but the formula of the shimmers are just, it's just really good. So I keep it around for that. I really do like the colors in there. BH Cosmetics, the Switzerland palette. BH Cosmetics, what happened to them? Are they still releasing eyeshadow palettes? I haven't looked into it in a while, actually. They were bought by Makeup Revolution. That was a while ago. I don't know. I've had this palette for a while, but I think the BH formula is really great. One of their best palettes is Avocado Toast. This one is beautiful. It's hard to see because it's so reflective, but I really like it. And then Beautiful in Barcelona. Also, really nice color story. I've got some larger ColourPop palettes here. The Aurora Struck, really nice, like pastel tones, but there's a lot of depth here. It's not like all light. It's actually, this has really good range, I think. Another kind of YouTube famous palette is the So Jaded from ColourPop, which I really do like this one. I love the jewel tones in there. Another Sydney Grace palette, which this might be my favorite from Sydney Grace. This is the Be Mine palette. I just think the colors in here are really stunning, and all the looks I've done with that one, I just really, really love. And then let's see. Okay, I have more Alter Ego palettes, the Midsummer palette. This one is really nice. I like it quite a bit. And then, oh yeah, this one, the Goddess palette. This is the one that's similar to the gold palette, which I do have the gold palette as well, which we'll get to that at some point, but this one is lovely. Morphe Ring the Alarm. Yes, I still have it and I still like it and I use it. We have a couple more from Nomad. This is the Fête de Provence palette. I like this one quite a bit. Beautiful color story. I don't reach for it that often. I do think it's a very summery color story, which they did release this, I think, last summer. And then this one, wow, I need to use this. This is the Verona palette. It has been a while since I used this one. I think the way the packaging opens kind of throws me off from this palette. It just makes it a bit harder to maneuver. I mean, it looks really cool and it's really, really nice, but I don't think that it's as practical for me, but it is a really good palette. And then I have three more from Sydney Grace. This one, these are the three Temptalia palettes. I ended up just buying all of them. This is the Radiant Reflection Light. This is the first one that I got when it first came out. And then the other two I bought in the Christmas in July sale. This one is Quintessence, and it's also beautiful. There is some repetition among these, not exact shades, but similar. So, but that's why I was like, well, I'll just get it on sale. And then this one is On the Horizon, the deep version. I love how Sydney Grace has the light and the deep versions of their palettes. I just think that is absolutely amazing. And this one is gorgeous. Definitely, it's a favorite by them. So I think I'm going to end part one here. We'll see. This may have to be 3 parts, 2 or 3. I'm not sure. But if you are new, I hope you'll subscribe and check out the other Geekmas videos. Like I said, I'm uploading every day until Christmas. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a great day.